welcome, bonjour, hola, konnichiwa. Hey everyone, we are here at the Hudson Valley, New York. Today we're going to be talking about depression. Now, depression is something that I think most people have experienced at some point in their life. And the fact is that right now, the United States and many other countries in the world are experiencing some of the highest rates of depression and suicide that we've ever seen recorded. Now, there are so many different reasons as to why many of us are experiencing depression, anxiety, fear, self-doubt. But I think one of the most important reasons why many of us are experiencing depression is the society we live in is not necessarily in tune with the way that human beings evolve. Now, we evolved as social, tribal, hunter-gatherer type creatures. Now, we have to understand we evolved from monkeys to cavemen and to tribal, hunter-gatherer people, human beings, Homo sapiens. Now, we were tribal, social communities that depended on each other in order to survive and thrive in these harsh environments. Now, if you're noticing today, people are more separated than ever. There are people who live in apartment buildings with hundreds of other people, but there's no sense of community. Many of these people, they don't speak to their own housemates, their own apartment mates that may live across the hall from them. Now, we have these high-rise buildings where literally hundreds, if not thousands of other people live in the same building as them. They don't have relationships, friendships with any of them. Now, we're so disconnected from each other, and the problem is that we are wired biologically and psychologically through evolution to be social creatures in order to work together for our survival and to thrive. So it's important to realize that we, as human beings, need a sense of community. We need a sense of belonging. We need a sense of a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a challenge. That's how we've evolved from thousands and thousands of years ago. And today, what's the most challenging thing physically that most people have to deal with? Is hopping in their car, hopping on the bus, and going to the grocery store and picking out groceries from the aisle. So the point I'm trying to get at here is find a sense of community. Find an organization, find a circle of friends that you can feel very comfortable with socializing in a long-term, deep relationship, deep friendship. One new factor I'd like to bring up is meditation. Now, why am I bringing up meditation? Many people know through word of mouth, through the internet, that meditation has to do with stress. It has to do with relieving stress, calming the mind, going to a space where there's no thoughts. But one thing that many people don't know or don't realize is some of it has to do with your very energy itself. Now, this may sound wishy-washy, new age, but I'm telling you from experience that this is the truth. Now, I want you to imagine you're back in 7th grade biology class, and you're looking at a map of the human body that shows the cardiovascular system. Now, you have your heart, which pumps the blood through your arteries and back through your veins, all throughout your body. Now, you have all these different lines that go through your body. But imagine the same thing, the same type of system where there's many channels going through your body. But instead of blood, these are energy channels in which the very life force that your body thrives off of is flowing through there. Now, your energy body may look something like this. It's like a cardiovascular system on a very subtle level, but the frequency is off. Have any of you guys ever taken an energy drink or caffeine some sort of too much coffee maybe in a single day, and your very nerves, your hand is shaking at the end of the day or not too long after drinking your coffee. So imagine that's what your very energy body is like. It's shaky, it's untuned, it's out of balance. And in some ways, as many people will say, the frequency, the vibration of your own energy is out of sync, it's out of tune. Now, what meditation does for me, in my experience, is it's like this. This is your very energies. You can feel it. Your mind is super shaky, it's twitchy, and over time, as you're practicing meditation, this shakiness slows down, slows down, slows down. And if you become advanced at meditation, over time, this shakiness will come to a complete stop. Now, this is something that you may need to spend a few weeks trying, but I want, right now, I want you to take out a pen or just on some kind of notepad on your computer. I want you to write down this. Isha Kriya. ISHAKRIYA. I'll put a link down in the description. This is a form of meditation that I learned from an organization called the Isha Foundation. Now, this meditation was something different than I had ever tried before. I had tried other guided meditations on YouTube before this, but this one was special. This one gave me a new sense of experience. And I think one interesting reason why is you'll see when you practice this meditation that it is more involved. There's actually about 2 to 3 steps in this meditation. And I won't give it away what those steps are. I want you guys to go and practice this. But most of you who are listening that are struggling with anxiety, are struggling with depression, are struggling with fear, with unhappiness at where you are in your life, one thing that meditation will do for you is it'll bring a sense of balance, it'll bring a sense of calmness, and it gives you an actual space between how you are and how your emotions and mind and your body are reacting to things. Now, it's kind of hard for you to picture what I'm saying because it's, imagine me trying to describe the taste of chocolate to someone who's never tried chocolate before. That is what it's like to try, for me in my position, who's been practicing meditation for about 8 years now, to try and tell someone who's never actually sat down every day for even 2 weeks at a time to practice meditation. But I would really like for you guys to at least try it. Try your own form of meditation. If you don't like the Isha Kriya, if you don't like, following someone else's exact advice, you can try a different form of meditation. They're all beneficial in their own way. Simply sitting down with your eyes closed and not moving a single muscle is actually one of the best meditations I can absolutely advise. Now, I don't want to ramble on about meditation too much because I want this to be about everything. So make sure you try at least one meditation. I recommend 2 meditation sessions per day, about 10 to 15 minutes per session. Now, try and squeeze it in at any time of the day, but I suggest putting these meditations before a meal. The only reason why is because most of us eat quite heavy meals and we get tired easily, and you'll find that your meditations are not as high of a quality after you eat because you're kind of sleepy, you're not paying attention, and it's very important in meditation that you're very aware and you're very involved. And if you're half asleep, it doesn't help. So remember that we as human beings are many ingredients. We are not just one individual unit. We are made up of millions of different ingredients, multiple different ingredients. We have a train coming by, so in a second it's going to be really loud, and I'm probably not going to edit this video, so you guys are just going to have to hold out for a second while this really loud train goes by. But what I want to get to here is we have a physical body that has certain needs in terms of nutrition, and you will find that if your diet is in tune with what the body really needs, like phytonutrients, phytochemicals from plants, so it's so important to get a lot of leafy greens. So I'm going to pause just for a second here while the train was the Amtrak here that passes right along the Hudson River. It's a really awesome ride. It goes from Albany, New York to New York City, so I really recommend any of you, if you're in the area, to take that train. Beautiful view. So now, if you eat in tune with what your body needs, then you will actually notice that your very brain chemistry, your neurochemistry will actually change. Most people are eating like fucking garbage. They're eating Five Guys burgers and french fries. They are eating In-N-Out burger. They are eating Taco Bell. Now maybe you don't eat Taco Bell every day, but think realistically, how many leafy greens, how much spinach, kale, how much Swiss chard are you eating every day? Now, I'm not sitting here saying you need to go full vegetarian or vegan, but you need to at least include phytonutrients, because these have a lot of essential minerals and vitamins that are, and phytonutrients that are not in any other food out there. Now, it's also important to make sure you're getting certain things like vitamin B12, and especially, this is a big one, is the amino acids from certain proteins. There are many different types of amino acids, and you need to make sure you're getting the basic 12 that are needed for survival. And you can look up which foods have those. There's many foods. Sometimes you can combine them. Certain, like lentils, will have some proteins and amino acids, and others will not. And there are some foods that have all amino acids. One big one I really want to get to is the fatty acids. Now these are like omega-3 fatty acids, omega-6 fatty acids, and omega-9 fatty acids. One of the best sources of these is, of course, things like hemp seed oil, flaxseed oil. You can even get it from things like almonds and other types of nuts and seeds. And you just need to make sure you're getting the right amount of these, at least enough of these. You really can't get too much. You might get a little bit chubby if you're eating too many fatty acids, but for the most part, these are unsaturated fats that are healthy, and you will not find that you will get unhealthy from eating too many. But you can get very unhealthy and sick and depressed from not having enough. So as you can see, we're out here in a very beautiful scenic area right now. And this is the next topic I'd like to go on, is connecting with nature. Remember at the beginning of the video we were talking about how our ancestors grew up and evolved in nature in very harsh conditions. And I'm not saying you need to go to Alaska and go live out in negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit conditions, but at least like a little bit, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day. Go find a park if you live in a city and go spend some time out in nature. If you live in the suburbs, I'm sure you have more access to nature than people who live in New York City or LA or other big cities like that. So it's really important to connect back with what's usually referred to as the elements. Now, this is just to give you a basic idea. But we have the water element right behind me. Underneath we have the earth element. All around us is the air element. Let's see if I can point it at the sun. I don't know where the sun is exactly with the phone, but you could say that's the fire element. And then of course the last one is kind of more of an esoteric element called the Akash, or space. And the point is, just go out in nature. Your body is actually in tune when it is most exposed to things like sunlight, fresh air. Most people don't know what fresh air is, especially if you live in places like LA, Chicago, New York City. You've never experienced fresh air. I actually heard a story recently that kids who lived in cities in India, they had never seen a river before. Like, not even like something this big. I'm talking about just like a stream. They've never seen flowing water in its natural state. So that's really sad. You can't live well if you're not at least connecting with nature a few times a week. So this is most people are saying, how is it that standing here, walking, pacing back and forth here by the river is going to make me a little bit happier? See, the thing is, our body reacts on a chemical basis to our environment. We have studies that show if you're exposed to loud traffic, to literally there's brake pad dust in the air when you live in cities and near highways that you're breathing in all the time, your skin actually reacts and creates things like vitamin D when it hits sunlight. When you get fresh air, your lung capacity actually increases, and when you're exposed to things like soil and dirt, your body reacts on a very subtle chemical basis, and these things will affect your neurochemistry in the end. So these are a lot of little different aspects that many people don't know about. People think that depression is all about neurochemistry, and they're actually not wrong, but they think the solution is to pump pharmaceutical chemicals down their system. And that's to each his own, but I think that's a very toxic way to live, is to think that swallowing one synthetic chemical is going to suddenly make you happy. And I actually have one family member that is, as far as I know, still taking pharmaceutical anti-anxiety medicines for depression. And as far as I could tell, it hasn't worked in the last few years. I think this sibling of mine is still facing a lot of the same anxiety, depression, and just a lot of the internal issues going on. So clearly it's not working, and I'm not just saying this as an anecdotal thing. There's been a lot of studies that, there's literally a scale of happiness. I can't remember the name of it, but it said something that on the best results that you can get from pharmaceutical medicine on depression, anti-anxiety, is it only went up maybe like 2 points on the scale. That people who are on the verge of killing themselves may have, gotten the edge off of their depression enough to go through the day without actually taking a knife and jamming it into their throat. So, one last thing I want to talk about, because now we're about 18 minutes into this video. I don't want it to be ridiculously long, but I want you to understand that many people, and this is a very wonderful quote from Henry Thoreau, live lives of quiet desperation. The exact quote from Henry Thoreau is, many men live lives of quiet desperation. Now, if you can't figure out what that means right off the bat, what he's trying to say is that many of us aspire to do wonderful, great things, but they don't take the necessary action to get where they want to be. Now, I have many friends and siblings and acquaintances that want to move up in their life. They want something different. They want a relationship, a new job, new friends. They want to become famous. They want this, they want that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I encourage them when I can. And I try and give them advice. I try and help them in many ways that I can. But the problem is, many people that you will find are apathetic. Apathetic means that they would rather complain and not take the necessary action on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis to get where they want to be. And then 3 months goes by and they say, fuck, here it is, the end of the summer. I still haven't gotten that girlfriend that I want. Still haven't made the kind of money that I want. Still haven't gone on that vacation that I need. Still don't have this. I'm still not where I want to be. So what you need to do is figure out what is it that you really, really want in life, and break it down into smaller pieces on what you can do on a moment-to-moment, day-by-day basis. And what you can do is say, "Oh, I don't know. I don't have enough time in my day to work on, building a business or going out and meeting people, meeting girls, meeting, uh, business clients to build my business." What you can do is actually work on lowering the amount of sleep that you need and putting in an extra 1 or 2 hours a day to work on some of these things. And then one thing that most people need to realize is that getting to your goal in life gives you a point destination. But what they don't realize is actually the best part of getting to where they want to be is the journey itself. And that sounds so cliche, but it's true. That I find the most fulfilling part is setting an actual goal itself and working towards being there. And that doesn't mean that you never get there just because the journey's so good. But when you do get there, don't stop there. Set a new goal for yourself. Keep moving forward. Keep finding better and better things in life. And set new goals for where you want to change certain aspects in your life. So remember, this one quote, it's just a really awesome quote, is our moment-to-moment decisions decide our day, and our days add up to our weeks add up to our months, and our months add up to our years, and the years become our life. So what this is trying to say is that the decisions you make on a moment-to-moment basis essentially affect how your life is in the end. Because when is there to work on things? There's only this moment or the next moment. If you're not going to work on the things that you really want now, if you really want a new job, you want to become famous, you want to work on a business, you want to meet a new person in your life, you want to make new friends, you have to put in the work. You have to put in a little bit of time every day, and you have to set a systematic, logical way of step-by-step of how you're going to do it. If you're trying to lose weight, figure out a plan and execute it. Don't be apathetic and say, "I'll figure it out tomorrow." Put in at least 1 hour today, right now, of figuring out what you want in life and going for it. And the whole reason why I'm saying this is because so many people, they want something out of life. They have a life of quiet desperation trying to figure out, how the fuck am I going to do this? I want to do this thing in my life, but I don't have it right away. How am I going to do this? Just realize that it's not going to happen overnight, and you need to put in a little bit of work each day. Now, I know that many people who became famous through, let's say, their music pursuit, their business pursuit, or their social pursuits of meeting new people, they put in a shit ton of effort every day. Some of them only slept 5 hours a day for months at a time, every single day, so that they get where they want to be. And in fact, I think that's one thing people fail to realize, is that some of the most successful people in the world are people who put in an intense grind. They took massive action every single day to get where they want to be. And lastly, just make sure you're very grateful for what you do have now. Nobody's life is perfect. I don't think anyone is ever perfect internally or externally. And that's actually one of the beautiful things about life itself, is that there's always a place to continue. Imagine if you got to a place in your life where, wow, I'm so settled. Everything that I want in life is here. How bored would you be so quickly? I think the very nature of humans is to constantly long and desire for more and more and experience more and more that life has to offer. So I think that's actually the beauty in life, is that we're never fully there to where we want to be. And if we do reach that eventually, then there's the next step. This next step. This next step. Why do you think millionaires and billionaires get richer every day? It's because it's never enough. Which, we could say a lot about that, but it's just human nature to always want more. So, thank you guys for listening. Be grateful for what you have. Work on all these little things. And I will catch you later. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.